Thokozani bogogo, thokozani bantu abadala. I welcome you all to my channel, and yes, I appreciate all those who follow this channel and even comment and share and like. Thank you very much for that. And if you are new, please feel free to subscribe and hit the notification button. I appreciate comments, likes, and shares. Thank you very much. So I'm going to do a story time. It's more of a reflection time, in fact. It's called The Sangoma's Daughter. You know, most of the time we run away from who we are. We run away from that which has been predestined for us because we lack understanding. So I come from a family where traditional and cultural issues, yes, they were attended to, but we were not so invested, deeply invested in ensuring that everything goes according to what is needed. Yes, I do remember as a young girl where every once in a while there will be a ceremony, a ritual, something here and there. But I don't remember anything too major. The most major thing I recall is my father going to Twasa to initiate as a sangoma. That was in the late early 90s. Yeah, it was early 90s. Yes. Late 80s, early 90s. And I was staying with him. I remember I was a student in Zwelitsha at Hector Peterson. And I had gone to live with my father because most of my life I spent it with my mother. So I had gone to live with my father because there was a threat to my life. There were boys who were threatening to rape me. And so one of the boys' friend came and actually told me about the plot. And once they even caught me and they were holding me near a supermarket up the road. And there I was saved by the owner of the morgue that is close to my place on the same street that I'm at. And he was actually just passing and he saw me sitting with these boys. Well, it was about 3 boys. I was the 4th person, and they were holding me on both sides of their arms. I remember I was wearing church clothes, white suit, coming back from church at Dongwe. And then they held me. It was a Saturday. They held me outside of that place and they said that they were waiting for sunset. The most painful thing is that I could see my house. My house is about what? From that supermarket, I think about 7 houses. So I could see there's my house, but we live in a very quiet street. The most traffic that you find in our street is the people who are going to the mortuary. And of course, live people. I'm not talking about ghosts. So these guys, they held me there, and that Sam passed. He didn't know what was happening, but he was like, "Why are you sitting there with these boys?" And he could say I'm wearing church clothes. I did not answer. I just jumped and ran, and I'm sure he was sure that I was running because he caught me with boys. He did not actually realize that he saved me, because these boys were just waiting for sunset. There was a small room at the supermarket where they used to play movies, but most of the time it was abandoned. So it was either they were going to use that, or I don't know, maybe take me behind the supermarket or the abandoned factory, but something dreadful was going to happen. So as a result, fast forward, I ended up leaving my home of Sada and going to live in Dimbaza with my father. But also part of me going to live with my father, it was about me reconnecting with my father. Because most of my life I've lived with my mother, though I had contact with my father. But it would be once in a while, you know, maybe during one holiday, I would see him, or I would see him at church. Even at church, it was very platonic, you know, even though we would be in the same space, but he was moving in a different space within the same building. So for me, going to live with my father, it was about reconnecting with him and getting to know him better. And also to dispel some myths that I had heard around. You know, my father used to be he's an ex-cop. So he was known for being someone who's very straightforward and someone who is very harsh. So I kind of wanted to get to know my father, but also I was escaping this boy. So I went to stay with him. So the most monumental moment in my life was when he was coming back, from Uktwasa, from initiation, and he had been gone for a year. And me and my other cousin, we had to look after his home. And then he came back, and that is when I then got exposed to sangoma work, and sangoma rituals and stuff. I don't remember everything because most of the stuff I blocked it out of my mind. I suppose it's because I did not want to be too linked to Ubungoma, and also I suppose I wanted to live my life and not live in the shadow of my dad. And at the same time, you always think that if you push something away, it means that it's gone. But lo and behold, I had now to go and initiate to be a sangoma. So as a sangoma's daughter, it was not easy. It's not easy because you get to learn how important it is for you to be grounded spiritually. Because I remember when he came back, we had to learn to communicate with Amadlozi Ake. We had to learn to communicate with his spirit guides. We had to learn, his movements. If you could hear Idlozi Lipakama, when Idlozi does the call, you could hear the lion roaring, then you needed to know that to stop everything, you jump and go and shayela him, play the drums for him and open the doors. I remember actually the first thing you do is open all the doors. Because when he comes out of wherever he is, he's just gonna go. If a door is not open, he'll just keep banging himself on it until you open it. So one had to, integrate themselves into the greenworks of Ubungoma working. And also, when he came back, he was no longer the same person who left. He was harsher. And he was way more strict. And also there were things that you could do and things you could not do. So there was a lot of changes, which was a challenge for me. I remember one time, actually, I think he pissed me off. And I was so pissed that, there's that whole issue of who am I dealing with now? Am I dealing with Idlozi or am I dealing with my dad? In which state is he in? And of course, with me, I always told myself that I'm dealing with my dad. But then this one time, Amadlozi, Apakama, and then they addressed me, they greeted me, and they were asking me, why am I cross? Why am I so angry? And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not angry. They said, no, you are angry. We can see that you are angry and you are even angry at us. Okay, I got a bit scared because now I was thinking, do I really want a spirit to believe that I'm angry at them? Is it even possible that I can be angry at a spirit? Whatever had made me cross, of course, it was against my dad, but now the spirit was taking it upon themselves to address it. And then that's when I realized that there's a very thin line between dealing with the person who has amadlozi, the sangoma, and dealing with amadlozi themselves, because everything is interlinked. The amadlozi are quite a part of you every second, every moment. They are there, you know. Hence, they can even gauge everything about you. So, being a sangoma's daughter hasn't been easy. I mean, for now, this is a pre-introduction. There's gonna be more that is going to come. And I'm going to be talking, from that perspective as a daughter and a perspective as a sangoma, and now understanding that I had to go through a process where initially I was sent to my dad, But when Idlozi felt that, you know, I learned what I needed to learn there, which was very valuable, I can never, ever take away from it. It was very tough. It was painful, but it was necessary. There were processes that I needed to go through. There were cords that I needed to cut. There were things that I needed to purge myself of and get them out there to purify myself for the journey. So there's a lot of fixing that happened. And also part of the fixing also then was beyond me just being in that space. So I'm gonna do a whole series about being a sangoma's daughter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Hit the notification button. I thank you very much. Much light and love. Togos.